Yes. So we are live now, sir. So very good afternoon, everyone. So as we are knowing that we are celebrating Joy of Giving Week for many years. Today we have Sandeep Bhargavaji, who is the moderator of this session. Sandeep sir is the former Executive Vice President, Vodafone India Limited. Further experience with a demonstrated history of working in corporate affairs in public policies domain in telecommunication industry professional. He is also a member executive of POSCO College Alumni, Chairman Telecom Community for Europe Business Group, National Advisory Board member of Sarthak Education Trust, and Vice President of NAI, that is National Olympic Association of India. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Deepika, for the introduction. Couple of parameters you need to change. They are going old. Old parameters are still there, so we need to change.
Sure.
So that is Vodafone Idea is the company name where I was doing my last job, and other couple of them you may just remove it. So thank you everybody, and thank you especially Akshay and Priyanka for taking out time to be with us for this special episode on Spark, Smiles and Empower Lives, the Joy of Giving Week. So as rightly pointed out by Deepika, this is an annual event for us, and as we call it in our terms is as Dan Utsav. So donation is always welcome and should be welcome, and we feel strongly that in our lives we should always try to find some occasion to donate for the right cause. And there is a saying in Hindi which talks about, it says ki jitna jayega utna wapis aayega. So you have to create space every time. So if you move money, then some more money will come and settle out there. So that's the preamble some of the people take ki chalo hum denge to hame aayega bhi. So we should go with that intent. And this is almost like a festival of philanthropy where a lot of people make commitments, make real donations, real contributions. And this has become, especially during the Gandhi Jayanti, people do remember the father of nation, and otherwise they just donate. So it's for the right cause. It really helps people who need it. And the way Sarthak has been doing work, I strongly feel that is the right direction. We get lots of donations from people, individuals, corporates, and companies. So the utilization of that is very important, and we have been putting those resources in the right direction. So not only money, but in fact the time, the resources and people, whatever you can give it, the way you feel like. It's not monetary always, but your own time, few hours. I understand somebody has started a bank called Time Bank, where you put in your time and then you devote your time as well, somewhere in the western part of the country as well as in Dehradun. So people have realized that giving is very important in whichever form and fashion and manner. At Sarthak, we prioritize inclusivity and disability awareness. We do keep on hosting sessions, not only on this topic, but many other topics. The idea is to really foster understanding amongst all of us and the audiences, and also help the right people, the society, the individuals, and the PWD sector, their families and friends, and the broader community. I have come to a conclusion that sponsoring this sector or giving help and support to this sector has really transformed the lives of people. And you as an employer like Priyanka has been very well associated with us, and Akshay from Lalit Hospitality Group. I think that you guys bring a lot of difference when you employ people from this particular sector and community, not only in the organization of yours, but in the lives and families and the society where these people come from. At one point of time, they are a liability in the organization, in the family, but now they have become an asset, because never ever they realize that we'll be working in our lives. They will all be dependent on their families and friends or some donations to work upon. But it's a matter of pride, and it's a matter of real great success that people have transformed themselves from becoming a liability to an asset. वो ये भी सोचते हैं आज कि अरे ये भी कमा सकता है, ये भी कमा के ला सकता है. So that's the kind of language we think of, and we feel very happy when we see people from this category getting employed, getting skillfully employed, and then making gains out of it and helping the family and the friends. So their own sustainability, their own standing up on their own feet, for example, has become very important. It gives a real empowerment to them. And I feel really happy when I've seen people with a meager salary of say 20,000-25,000. They are so happy and delighted that we people at the highest level, we may crib for our increments many a times, but ki mujhe ye nahi mila, mujhe wo nahi mila. But the kind of salaries they get and the kind of joy you see on their faces is phenomenal. So So with that preamble, I think the joy of giving is always very important. The week is very important. We should, and जो audience सुन भी रहा है on different social media, should also inculcate a habit. और आप में हैबिट डालना चाहिए कि आप इस हफ्ते में, साल भर भले ही ना दें, लेकिन इस हफ्ते में जरूर दें, तो आप में एक हैबिट बन जाएगा, एक आदत बन जाएगा कि आपको देने के लिए. तो मेरे साथ इस वार्तालाप में आज अक्षय त्यागी जी है, जो ललित हॉस्पिटैलिटी ग्रुप को रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं, और प्रियंका मोहंती जी है, जो कि वाइस प्रेसिडेंट हैं ग्लोबल कॉर्पोरेट एचआर की ग्लोबल टैलेंट मैनेजमेंट फंक्शन के लिए स्टार्टक पे. सो दोनों ही काफी समय से जुड़े हुए हैं इस सार्थक से, और आज हमारे बीच में हैं. तो मैं पहले उन लोगों को, दोनों को, एंड जैसे कि हमारे होता है लेडीज फर्स्ट, तो प्रियंका जी को पहले अपॉर्चुनिटी देता हूं कि वो कुछ शब्द बोले इस वीक के ऊपर, और फिर अक्षय जी बोले, और उसके बाद मैं कुछ क्वेश्चंस मैंने बनाए हैं तो वो मैं आपसे पूछूंगा. प्रियंका जी, ऑल योर्स. Just to give you an introduction of Priyanka, she's, as I said, Vice President Global Corporate HR at the Global Talent Management Function at Sarthak. Sarthak is a company which is spread across 12 countries, 38 global locations, and comprising of more than 35,000 employees across different locations. She individually has a diverse experience in multiple facets of HR and is a passionate advocacy of diversity, equity, and inclusion, especially with persons with disability. She has been highly instrumental in the company being conferred with multiple awards from Great Place to Work, National Award from Government of India for Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities from various organizations like ASSOCHAM, SHRM, NCP, DP, NIPMAN, Business World, National Society for Equal Opportunities for Handicapped. She has been individually conferred with many leadership awards, which includes Asia's 100 Power Leaders in HR, India's HR 40 Under 40, Women HR Leader of the Year, and also 101 HR Super Achievers, and many more. So over to you, Priyanka. Excellent track record, and we wish you all the best in the coming years and look forward to hear you now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandeep ji, and thank you, Deepika, Tejaswita, and the entire Sarthak team for putting this together. And I think हम लोग सार्थक के साथ obviously जुड़े हुए हैं पिछले, I think it's almost more than 10 years, एक decade हो चुका है, and especially this festival, this joy of giving and दान उत्सव जो भी हम बोलते हैं इसको, जैसे संदीप जी आपने कहा कि एक वीक के लिए ये एक it's like a festival, but actually like हमारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में एक वीक से बियॉन्ड ये जाता है. So we kind of extend it for it kind of extends for a month. मैं बोलूंगी कि 3-4 हफ्ते तक ये चलता है, because क्या होता था when we started in 2011, जब ये जर्नी हमारी शुरू हुई थी, and when we started with this festival a couple of years back, at that point in time बहुत लोगों को पता नहीं था ये बात, what is joy of giving, what is दान उत्सव, and how do we actually make a difference to the lives of persons with disabilities, जो ना कि सिर्फ हमारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में है, but to the broader people, जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के बाहर भी हैं and उनके families को. So at that point in time when we started this initiative, बहुत सारे सवाल आए, बहुत सारे questions आए ना, how can we move ahead with this, and that's of course when Sarthak helped us with all the information required, and a lot of sessions we did जब ये हुआ था couple of years back. And उसके बाद then there was actually no looking back, no stopping. मुझे याद है जब शुरू हुआ था ये, then we as HR हम लोगों के पास जा रहे थे to explain them, to make them understand कि this is why we need to contribute, we need to donate, we need to make a difference to the lives of persons with disabilities. But एक टाइम के बाद, after 7 or 8 years, today अगर आप हमारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में आके देखेंगे, then it is like हर एक एम्प्लॉय अपनी तरफ से वॉलंटियर करता है कि yes, even I want to contribute. And our organization is such that it is like so it's a BPO, if I can say in layman language, it's a BPO. वहाँ पे 95% जो लोग हैं, they are all frontline staff जो calls लेते हैं. So for them also, and if I can say, a lot of people are on the minimum wage category, but despite that, and उनके तरफ से भी they make efforts कि वो बोलते हैं आके कि मैम, whatever it is, हमारे इनसे जो भी हो सकता है, we will do. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to spend a huge amount. If your senior management is spending a huge amount, हमारे जितने भी 95% of the लोग हैं who are taking frontline agents, they make sure that, and इस बार तो हमें बोलना भी नहीं पड़ रहा, they come forward and they contribute and they sign a letter. And it is not about just यहाँ पे, it's not just about monetary contribution. It's also about, I think earlier years we had also done wish tree plantation, जहाँ पे trees लगाए होते हैं हमारे सार्थक team के साथ. So they come and there are wishes, and and you should see the excitement when हमारे लोग जाते हैं and they actually plug that wish and they fulfill it. तो हमारे reception पे आप देखेंगे कि बहुत सारे ऐसे cartons होते हैं जिसमें ये सब रखते हैं, and then our people, teams, they personally go to the Sarthak centers and they distribute this. So it is in fact not just about monetary or even non-monetary. It is about the fact that what are we as an organization doing to make a difference to the lives of persons with disabilities. एक तो hire करते हैं हम, so that is very very important, and उसमें Sarthak has been I think a constant partner in this journey along with other NGOs. But after that, हमारे उसके beyond हम क्या कर सकते हैं, beyond the people that are employed within us. So that is when this joy of giving I think comes into use, and abhi it's like a festival. It's already started there. We've already rolled out lots of mailers. बहुत सारे sensitization sessions चल रहे हैं अभी, and eventually we are going to make this happen, and we are going to keep it open for a longer period of time, ताकि a lot of people come forward, because there are kind of 25,000 people in our organization in India. So we want almost a lot of people to participate. So Joy of Giving Week के अलावा for us it's more like a Joy of Giving month हो गया है. So that is how it is all celebrated at Sarthak in our organization, Sandeep ji.
You are on mute, Sandeep.
Yeah, that's great, Priyanka, to hear about how do you celebrate, and not only a week, but it goes to a month. And the second very important aspect you brought in terms of, though the salaries are not very high and people are almost at initial levels, for example, because in these kind of companies, a lot of attrition is there. So people come and go, and the salaries are really at the start of since they are at the start of the career. So their salaries are also not on, but the kind of interest you express, these people show into the giving is very, very good. And not only now, it has been for many years. So I really thank you from the bottom of my heart, because my association with Sarthak is almost as old as Sarthak was born. So it's almost now 15 years we have gone back, and then we have been seeing you every year and in a very progressive manner. So thank you once again to you and to the company for supporting Sarthak at all levels. So after hearing from Priyanka, I would now like to go across to Akshay Tyagi. Akshay Tyagi comes from the Lalit Suri Hospitality Group. He's the head of diversity, equity and inclusion, a very enthusiastic gentleman with an extensive experience in promoting disability in the hospitality industry. Akshay is also a founding member of Keshav Suri Foundation. As head of the DEI at the Keshav Suri, at the Lalit Suri Hospitality Group, he plays an important role in developing and implementing these initiatives that foster an inclusive and welcoming environment within the organization. With a background in journalism and mass communication and a passion for driving positive change, Akshay has been actively engaged with various marginalized communities at various intersections in order to integrate them with the workplace and the mainstream. He brings a deep understanding of the unique challenges and opportunities in the hospitality industry and leverages his expertise to create impactful programs. Akshay is responsible for spearheading the group's DEI strategy, which encompasses various areas such as recruitment, employee development, and cultural awareness. He collaborates closely with leadership, HR teams, and employee resource groups to ensure that diversity and inclusion are integrated into all aspects of the organization. That's a great background, Akshay. And looking at your age, I think you have done a lot, achieved a lot in what has been described in your profile. So I wish you all the best moving ahead. So we would like to hear your views and your thoughts on the Joy of Giving Week, and also how do you do it in the organization, and what really exactly you do in this week. Over to you, Akshay.
Thank you, Sandeep. Like you said, it's been a rewarding journey. And of course, whilst it's not very long so far, but it's been very enriching, because I come from a background wherein you were at the receiving end of all the activities that you were just discussing on how to take joys, because you feel that there is something that is missing in your life, and then you are now at the other side of the table and creating strategies and programs to expedite all of these initiatives for so many others. It's been beautiful, because whenever communities are being discussed, I think they have always been looked at it from the sympathy aspect of their lives and struggles and challenges. And in my journey so far, I have always emphasized more on the positive deviant stories. And I think every single person that you are meeting, and we need to understand that there are diverse communities that we are working with. And within that diverse communities, there are multiple intersections. How are you ensuring that everybody is seen and represented? And it's a tough game. Like, it's very easy to see that, oh, there are NGOs working on this, and then there are corporate organizations planning to do this, not doing this technically. So, and how to integrate and bring both of them together, because everybody has some or other reason to do all of this. And it's very interesting because whenever we discuss about the communities, nobody really makes an effort to belong to the communities. And it's very easy, like, even if, let's say, corporate organizations are running an plan to do a lot of fundraise, but will that fundraise brings in the empathy quotient? Will that fundraise actually make people belong to the communities that you are wanting them to involve with? Is that fundraise actually helps people understand the plight and the challenges of people on the fringes? And that's something that we have been actively working on at the Lalisuri Hospitality Group. We personally say that we have gone above and beyond just raising funds, and every day you are bringing joy in not just one person's life, but everybody's life around, including your own self. And how we are doing it is because the kind of diversity that you are born with your own self, and you are being acceptive and appreciative of the beauty that you carry within, that's the same what other people are also expecting for their own selves. And it is because of us that a lot of people are actually losing out on confidence in their own selves, because we are the ones who are constantly reminding them that they are different than us. And that's been something that we have picked up very, very appropriately, so to say, because our efforts actually translated into actions when we did a lot of homework and still learning and involved ourselves with the communities. We went on to the ground, we met a lot of people, and we realized that it's very interesting to write that, okay, you're strategizing for an organization on their DEI journey, but the actual strategy is that there should be no strategy, because you're working on diverse communities, you're working on a model of inclusion, and then you're following a set rule to bring communities together, which will never work, because every single person has a different requirement and different accommodations are to be made to actually be inclusive. And this is an evolving journey. Every day there is a new story for us to learn and evolve from. But what has been really, really rewarding, and like we are celebrating joy of giving, is that in almost 5 years of my experience with the Lalisuri Hospitality Group via the Keshasuri Foundation and thousands of organizations who are actively involved and engaged towards empowering the people with different disabilities, and very amazing NGOs like of yours who are actively not just helping us recruit or find talent, but also have been supportive in onboarding of the candidates, supporting in ensuring that there is regular feedback mechanism, supporting us in ensuring that there is somebody who we are also answerable to beyond just their families. And one of the beautiful things that we have done at the Lalit is that it's never been just a linkage between the NGOs and the organization. It's always a 360-degree mechanism wherein the peers who they're working with, where their families are all kept in loop. And in case somebody doesn't have a family of their own biological choice, then there are families which are the chosen ones. And we go to them to find out, because we are working with the community which has been less invested in terms of trust. Like, a lot of parents in these many years, I have realized, are not sure or confident about their own word, if they will be good enough to fit in into the environment. And my basic and the most extensive at the same time challenge is only that how are we letting people even use the word fit in? Like, our children need to thrive, our children need to thrive, our children need to belong. They can't fit in. We have to give them that space to evolve in this journey. We cannot just have people fill in the box, right? Because that box is vacant. So they have to claim their space. And with that, we started our programs. We have set exposure model wherein people are just getting to observe various functions that operates in the hotel. Further, they get into industrial training wherein they get to work in three preferred areas or two preferred areas of their own choice. And then comes the apprentice model wherein they select one area. Like, in 9 months, you get enough confidence to select one out of many options. And that has been very, very helpful for us. I'm extremely proud that when we are celebrating joy of giving, but we actually have gotten a lot of joy. And at the same time, through these people, we have been able to give back a lot of joy to all our guests who are walking in at the Lalisuri Hospitality Group. Our diversity, equity, and inclusion welcome is no more just the Lalit thing, but has gone above and beyond. And people, be it G20 summit, which has recently happened, or thousands of guests who have walked in at the Lalit so far, all our 13 properties in and around have been welcoming our guests in sign language. And that's something that everybody has been talking about. Everybody has spoken about. All the media channels cover diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts of the Lalisuri Hospitality Group, even during G20. And I think this has only been possible because we actually got so much of love whilst giving a lot of love and respect. So like I said, it's been something that we have been celebrating throughout the year. And I look forward that we come to a point wherein there should actually be no barrier before hiring somebody. And we really need not to rely on somebody to work on something. I really, like, my dream, if you really ask me, is to envision a world wherein when I'm talking to somebody, should not feel that I am being excluded. And trust me when I'm saying this, I feel excluded every day. And not because people are creating that sort of environment, because I am the one who is not an expert when it comes to sign language. I am the one who doesn't understand the challenges of persons with autism or Down syndrome. I am the one who doesn't understand the hardships of life when your family is not accepting and supportive enough. I am the one who has not been accustomed or maybe trained enough to gel up with all of these communities together. I am the one who is not able to convert or to converse with people in diverse languages. And when I see in that environment wherein everybody is different, I am the one feeling excluded. And I really wish that at one point in time in our lives, we come to a stage wherein all of us feel inclusive, irrespective of the differences that we bring to the table.
Thank you, Akshay. Very well explained the way you treat this particular segment of diversity, equity, and inclusion amongst the people, and also makes happier the lives of the people who work for. And you really gave me a good 360-degree view of how does it happen and how people have received it. And especially the recently held G20, because I think a lot of guests were there into your hotel as well as other places, other properties. So I think they would have taken back a strong message from the hotel as well as from the country itself in terms of how we treat them. And I think you're doing a fantastic job by enabling them, giving good jobs and rotating possibly in their jobs as well. So like other corporates do it, for example, Sarthak with us, they are also employing a lot. And the most important aspect you touched about the peer satisfaction. And we as Sarthak also face a lot of challenges even after recruitment of the persons. Our job doesn't get over there, as you rightly said. It goes beyond the recruitment by the company or by the hotel or by the restaurant, for example, or the retail chain. Because getting them settled and make them work with a stable environment is an important task. And also getting receptive by their peers, their supervisors, their managers, and their juniors, and getting them involved into that fraternity of, for example, the normal people like us, coming them, accepting them, and then trying to communicate to each other and understanding their responsibility, their challenges, for example, it's an important task. So to retain this kind of people also is a very important phenomena in any organization. It's a challenging task, and that is why we keep on doing our reorientation programs. We keep on having the connect, not only with the candidate or the organization, but their families as well, to really let them know that your child is doing good and he or she is safe and secure, and that is how it happens. So it's a very important aspect, that kind of an environment you are providing and involving people more than beyond the candidate herself or himself. I think that's an excellent way of.
Can I just intervene?
Yeah, please.
One thing. So I think one of the important aspects of our conversations have been to reduce the word normal from our conversations. And I think that's very important, because this is the same narrative a lot of parents also come to, like, our kid is not normal. But I think we ourselves are not normal that way. Like, and I think normality is a very something that's an outdated term. Everybody is normal in their own way. And these differences that we bring to the table are our uniqueness, and this is what should be celebrated, and this is what we are all talking about. At the same time, what is also very important is that whenever we discuss about communities, we are of
We lost you.
discussing like you need to ensure even people who are gender diverse, and hence it's not should be just himself herself, but even themselves, whoever is not aligning with the identity of he or she, so that they also feel included, because there are a lot of non-binary persons who are on the spectrum of disabilities as well, to be reflected in our conversation.
I think, is it at my end or I lost Akshay's voice?
I can hear you.
Okay, you're back now. Yeah, please go ahead.
Did I finish? I sort of finished.
Okay, great. So thank you, and for clarifying that part. And my intent was not to create the differentiation. The idea was just to explain, because many
Yeah.
times people don't get these ideas. So that was the term used. But yes, it's a learning for me as well in today's environment, Akshay. Thank you for pointing that out. So moving on and hearing the two aspects of the hospitality industry, and for the corporate, we got it from Priyanka. So I had some few questions which I'll put across, and maybe you can answer those. Though going forward, Priyanka, yeah, my question to you is: what are the challenges? What are the challenges PWDs face in their life? So you have seen them working in the corporate. You have seen them working personally. You have tackled them. So what are the challenges which you feel that this segment is facing?
I think honestly, the challenges, there are no new challenges. The challenges, whatever are there, have always been there. And as Akshay rightly said, that it is not just about that particular group, but it's also about the peers. So, and rightly, when we all have been using this term, unconscious bias, and this, when we say, it is not just restricted to persons with disabilities or removing their unconscious bias. It is more about removing the unconscious bias of the people existing within the organization. And I think the challenge, even today, because so for us, especially if I talk about, it's a highly attractive industry. So for us, the challenges always remain the same. I mean, although it has been limited to a certain extent, but owing to the the nature of our industry is so dynamic that every time there is this challenge, definitely, that about eliminating and how to sensitize these people more. I mean, when I say these people, it is about everybody, and about the 360-degree, as very rightly pointed out by Akshay. So and this is one of the challenges, and to counter this challenge, I think what is more important is, it's not just about, so all these sensitization programs, where we, on day one, we make sure that anybody and everybody who joins the organization actually undergoes as to a mod. And when I say module, it is not just like a 3 or 4 page module where we talk about one section of DI, but it is about all the and rightly said, the intersectionality also. And when it comes to gender, when it comes to persons with disabilities, when it comes to any other, when it be culturally diverse, be it linguistically diverse. So there are so many aspects of diversity that we're dealing with, and now generational diversity also has come in. So all these factors are actually embedded within everybody who joins our organization on the very first day. And then off late also, what we have done is we have tried to and another challenge which happens with us is, I think when we hire, when we recruit, finding employable population was a very big challenge, but now it has sort of because of and thanks to Sarthak and other NGOs, that this has become sort of easy now for us hiring employable population. But the third challenge which I was talking about is the skill building aspect. That is something that is very, very important. And even when we talk of the learning programs that are there within our organization. So now what we have done is, we have kind of made it mandatory for a certain set of people to undergo certain set of programs, which are actually pertaining to I think that this which will also help in eliminating unconscious bias, which will also help in how do you understand what they feel like, this section of people, when we say and this diverse group of people, which not only includes persons with disabilities, but anybody from the diverse set, and that includes us also, because in some way or the other we also fall into that group. If it comes to gender diversity, I'm a part of them. What are the challenges that they face? And also technology, I think now that is something which is coming up in a very big way. That how to make them probably, and I always believe that it's just an enabler. It can never be a must-do aspect. I believe that technology is an enabler, but now that with lot of hybrid working conditions that are coming up, or remote working conditions that are coming up, firstly, it has become quite easy for us to hire persons with disabilities and put them in this role, that which will also enable a hybrid work environment. But for that, technology upgradation and making them conversant with a certain aspect of technology, that is currently something that we would like to evolve, and we would like to also, because that has been a very a big advantage when it comes remote working for us, hybrid working. But then enabling, and that includes for us also, for everybody, who that making them conversant with that technology, so that they are able to give in their best, and productivity at no point in time goes low. Because as we say, ultimately everything for us, I won't say it's a CSR activity that we do, hiring of persons with disability. It is definitely a business advantage, because the ROI that we have received, the return on investment, when it comes to hiring cost, when it comes to attrition, when it comes to training cost, or when it comes to discipline, I think in all these aspects, PWTs are definitely a game changer. But so we have to ensure that productivity definitely does not go down. If technology is something that we need to focus on, then we will focus on. But these are one or two challenges that I thought, unconscious bias, technology, sensitization, and also I think skill building. So these 3 or 4 points are that what comes to my mind at this point in time.
No, sure, very valid points, and many of these we are trying to tackle in our daily lives at Sarthak or otherwise. So definitely, all of us has to work collectively to remove these kind of challenges which they face. So I think going forward with the sensitization, and with the number of people getting employed increases, I think slowly it will plateau it up and disappear. So that's the kind of approach will happen, and I'm bound to happen and should happen to get then the maximum benefit. So Akshay, coming back to you for this particular week, how does the Joy of Giving Week help the people with disabilities in this particular sector? So if they are getting some monetary advantage, or if they are getting any time resource or something like that, what are the what is the impact on their lives, especially during this week or month, if I may ask?
See, whilst I personally feel that joy is very personal thing, once they will be at a receiving end, they will better know how impactful this support is for them. But what is very, very important for us to understand is how much satisfied are you when you are giving it, right? Because of course, joy is something which is unmeasurable. You will never be able to reach up to that stage wherein until you are not there yourself to get it. But we need to understand that we are working with students or kids or children from various walks of life. A lot of them haven't had easy access to education. A lot of them haven't had easy access to even parenting, for that matter, because when any child is born, their parents aren't trained to handle a child with some limitations in their life at the time of birth. And all of this makes it very difficult for a lot of parents to even give them a good parenting to grow with. Whilst they definitely make their best effort, but is this always the right way to do it? Probably we are still in the questioning stage when it comes to that. And then, of course, when you haven't had easy growing up childhood time, when you don't have easy access to education, skill set is something that everybody in the corporate or any organization look for, and that's also something which is missed out. And then steps in organizations like yours, organizations like so many more working in this space to bridge those gaps. But are these interventions enough to get them skilled to work with us? Because at the end, a lot of the work that we do is based on interpersonal skills, comfort, and then you are training the children just. How about the training of the person who are going to be working with them? Because that is something that I am to invest, and then I am to go back to you for the same sort of an intervention. How are we bridging those gaps? How are we making the other person in my team believe that this is not something that we are doing for charity? This is not something that they're doing because there is somebody disabled and is to be supported, but we are all doing this because this is the right thing to do. We are all doing this because every person on this planet is to contribute to something, and they can only provide when they are actually given a platform to be their best version, and at the same time equipped with the right set of skills. I'll tell you a scenario. Like when we started our journey and during my training interventions in the initial stage, I just asked a very random question, like we are discussing about joy of giving, like if we will hire a lot of people, and how many of you actually are wanting to support and uplift and strengthen the world that we are living in. And eventually everybody wants to do that, right? Everybody wants to contribute to a better India. Everybody wants to contribute to the strengthening and empowerment of everybody in this country. And how are people doing it? And then you actually hear that a lot many people are like, I find somebody disabled and I give them money. I found somebody on the street, I fed them. I found somebody on the railway station, I gave them the money and supported with something. And then people on the fringes and who are homeless, they are also being supported with some shelter. These are the initiatives that are led by people, and people contribute and support. So that bit is already happening. And then we said that, okay, Vyas, all of this is amazing and you are doing it in multiple ways. This workplace and your joy of giving is beyond just that monetary support. You being yourself and being appreciative, not acceptive, because a lot of time we use the word like you have to accept, deal with it. We don't believe in that. We rather say that acceptance is to come from within. If somebody has accepted this is to happen, that will anyway happen. It will have actually no impact of me not wanting to make that happen, but me being appreciative of whatever it comes, right? And me being appreciative of other people, be whatever they wish to be. And that actually has resulted in a lot of positive change. So now when team is working with diverse communities, like we have over 200 people with disabilities working with us, and every time somebody is coming in, team is not looking at it from the perspective that we need to support. They look at them that there is somebody else who is now a supportive hand in our team to assist us in our journey. So it is no more coming from the place that they are helping somebody. It is coming more from a place wherein everybody is assisting and supporting people from various walks of life. When it comes to monetary support, honestly, it brings a lot of change. And when it comes to even me, honestly, I'll rather say that there is a lot of investment that even corporate organizations need to make before we get somebody to a level that that person is like excellent enough to be a good resource in our team. Because whilst all of you are making great efforts in bridging those gaps, but that's not the industry. And working with five people, learning with 5-6 people, and then at the same time coming into corporate organizations, working with 20-25 in a team is not easy. But that easy onboarding, smooth transition from that structure to another, providing them that comfort is something that we have been extensively working on, had created a model wherein everybody is really being happy. I'm happy to share one of our pianists who is actually making it very happy for everybody who is working at the Lalit, is 70% autistic at the Lalit, New Delhi. One of our pianists in Mumbai hotel is again a person with visual disability. Similarly, our Kolkata hotel also has a visually disabled piano who is making everybody happy with his melodious tunes of piano. One of our singers who perform at our Kota's restaurant in Goa is again person with disability. So we are looking at various intersections and at the same time various tapestry of traditions and cultures and talent to bring people and make them feel included. At the same time, we work with people with autism, we work with people with Down syndrome, we work with people with special needs. Beyond all of this, we have people who are living with ADHD and all the other disorders, and making them feel safe. We are ones who changed our policies when it comes to 21 disabilities to 21 transitions of our policies as well, and then having the word reasonable accommodation in every other policy to ensure that even if we are missing out on something, that is to be accommodated as in when it comes. And all of these is something that we have incorporated in our act of joy or giving back to the community. And in return, there is a huge investment, and the return that is to come, like Priyanka said, that this is something that is to be supported because of course it has a business advantage, but also because we are the ones with privilege. And if we will not recognize the privilege that we all carry with our own selves, we'll probably never be able to bring in equity as an important aspect of our lives, which is far more important than just creating an equal world, because every individual that we look at in current scenario is looked at from the perspective that I carry for the society. But it's time that we change that to the perspective that the individual has for themselves, so that they are understood for what they bring to the table and not the expectations that we have from them.
That's excellent, Akshay. The efforts you are making at the group and your various entities, I think, is appreciable. And also, it has been proven in the past with many of the studies which have come out. We have been working in the sector. They have indicated the kind of efficiencies and effectiveness is brought into the organization by recruiting people from this sector has been tremendous, not only in the hospitality industry, but in the IT companies as a retail chain of stores. The kind of, as you rightly pointed out, Priyanka, about the return on investment, I think has been very, very good. And that's the reason, in spite of not having a mandate to deploy for or recruit, for example, people are still recruiting them and giving them the benefit in the organization. So I'll go back to the COVID days, my own personal experience. During the start of the COVID, Dr. Agarwal received an email from somebody asking for a monetary help. And he passed on that email to me ki, Sandhi ji, aap dekho, somebody is asking for money because COVID ho gaya hai, paisa nahi hai. So the case was like that lady who got this mail written by her child. Her child was in the pre-final year of MBBS in some college in Delhi, medical college, and she used to teach people before COVID. So pre-COVID, she used to go around and teach people, students in the community. But she had an amputated leg. So for her, traveling and going across was very difficult. Only at her home, the children were coming and taking tuitions and going back. Now, suddenly her whole income went zero because she was not able to do it online, for example, and the children can never come to her place. Now, the problem they faced was the fee to be deposited by that boy for his medical studies. So that was the whole context. He reached, Dr. Agarwal said, Sandeep ji, hum Sarthak se to aisa paisa de nahi sakte, and the need was 18 lakhs. So I said, okay, let me try some innovative way. It is a wrong time which has come and it's COVID. I can't go out, but let me try all my methods and ways and means. So luckily, it so happened that I did a personal contribution and one of my friends did a personal contribution, but that contribution triggered some kind of a crowdfunding for that boy. And it went to the extent of the Indian Medical Association. They also got to know, I reached out to them. They also understood. They gave a 6 or 7 lakh grant to this guy. So collectively, we got him around 16, 17 lakhs in that period and deposited his fees. And when we reached to that threshold level, the guy was so sincere. He said, "Sir, ab mat collect karna, mera kaam ho gaya hai." So that sincerity was also there in that boy. For that cause, it has been there and his cause is served. So it just happens. The joy, it was no week, no month, nothing. It was just out of the blue. This problem has come and Dr. Agarwal said, मैं तो दे नहीं सकता सार्थक से इतना पैसा कैसे दूंगा? So आप कुछ करिए. And he put it on to me too. And I was also like totally clueless ki how to help this guy, but it just happened. It just happened. Wherever I wrote, whether I pleaded for him and it went across and people donated. So it just happens that it is your interest, the cause, for example, and the luck for that person. It's the timing also that people were sitting at homes and it was COVID time. So they just thought of generosity there. Something happened. I don't know what, but he was like facilitated. So these things happen and this brings happiness to you, to the society, to the individual, to the families of the who are not. He was ready to sell his house. I said, no, don't sell your house, because whatever price you fetch for a house, you will never be able to regain that. House, just keep it, but everything else will be done. So somehow it just happened. So what I'm trying to give you an example that in all different conditions, you still go for the cause and you achieve the objective and people feel happy about it. And at the end of the day, they feel really happy. So I think the Joy of Giving Week is just an occasion to really concentrate your efforts. But if it happens full around the year, I think it's very welcome. People do it in some fashion or the other. And a lot of people keep on doing it. You as in your companies, respective companies, you do it. So definitely it gives a thrust to the entire giving of the individuals or the collective of the people. I see events happening across corporates. So it's excellent. So with this, I would like to thank you very much for your time today, both Akshay and Priyanka. And Deepika, any questions you have it in the chat or from the audience, you are free to do. किसी का कोई क्वेश्चन या प्रश्न होता है तो आप पूछ सकते हैं.
No, sir, we don't have any questions.
Okay. So anything else?
But we would like to thank you, Sandeep, for being a great moderator, and also like you narrated this piece of your contribution in that life. I would just like to say that all it takes is that first step that you had taken back then. And I think it's a story of each one of our lives, in every life that we are touching in our journey as well. All it takes is that first step. You have to do it wisely. So reach out.
Yeah.
I think in reaching out to the right people is not something that we should be afraid of. And there are right people across.
Absolutely.
So
I'll go back to how I joined Sarthak. I don't know if somebody would have listened to that story. Since we have time, I'll just narrate it for a couple of minutes. In 2007 and 8, Dr. Agrawal approached me while I was working with Nokia. He said, Sandeep ji, एक football match कराना है visually impaired के लिए. I said, visually impaired के लिए football match, डॉक्टर साहब मुझे कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा, because 1-2 घंटे वो खेलेंगे फिर भूल जाएंगे. So do something which is sustainable and which something they can do it for life. So that was my first experience with Sarthak. He had no credibility because he had just come out new of his own set of problems. And he just approached me through Neelu Bhullar and from MDI कि नहीं आप कुछ support कर दीजिए. I said, no, please go back to your work and come back after 7 days and tell me something which you can do it on a progressive basis, something which is meaningful. They came back after a week and said, हमने तो कुछ नहीं सोचा, हमें समझ नहीं आया. So I was in Nokia and we do the networks part of it. You have seen a lot of towers put across and a lot of antennas on that. So our engineers used to visit these towers, install the antennas, but never send back the data to us. They take 10 to 15 days to send back the data to us. And we were lacking in that data which was captured and sent to DOT. So I said, Dr. Sahab, मेरे को एक model समझ में आया है कि when these engineers go into the field, they have a phone. At least they have a mobile phone. So can we do something, set up some computers in your Sarthak center with some mobile phone, because whichever disability, they will be able to manage the phone. If it is visually impaired, he can hear it at least and type it on the computer. They are very good at typing. So whatever it is, just try to do this. And we conceived a small project for them. I said, we'll install computers, we'll give mobile phones to your people and let these people call you. You punch that data, which they speak in a certain sequence, punch it into an Excel sheet and send it to the Nokia office. And that gives me an idea of involving the people, the children, the IT, the computer, and our own company. So we get the benefit out of it. And trust me, this was the trigger point. And I gave them grants for 3 years in continuation of 35 lakhs each. So after 3 years we gave, but it was utilized for 5 years. But point is, somebody took that lead, somebody understood the problem, what is there, and somebody did realize. A lot of people said back to me, you are taking a risk, he's a new guy, you don't know, NGOs aisa hi hota hai, waisa hota hai, and all that stuff. I said, what happens? At the most, they may deduct my 1 year or 2 year salary, I'm okay with that. But mere ko isme dam lag raha hai, let us go for it. And we just went ahead, touch wood, and everything slowly started picking up. And now today we have you all and so many others connected to us. So it gave us a total different dimension and image to this whole cause. It just happened. It just happened. Even he was not having his PPTs. He said, "Mere ko to banana aata nahi, aap hi bana do." So we went to that extent to help him out and to do a sustainable thing, a long-term thing. And that's where the corporates are also willing to contribute and take that risk. So it just happened. So it has to be a trigger. It has to be the right mindset, right set of people where you propose these things. And it just happens. And a lot of things are happening by some reason or the other. And this has come up well. Where you skill people, you get them, you as an employer, accept them, take them, build their families, build their societies. I went to Bhopal at one of our centers. One guy who got skilled there, got a job there. And when I was there, he brought a cake. I said, there's a girl who used to be with us. She's in Bhopal. तो कहती है सर ये हर साल एवरी इवेंट पे वो यहाँ आता है. तो मैंने कहा अभी क्यों आया? बोले वो उसको मोटरसाइकिल खरीदा है तो वो केक काटने यहाँ सेंटर में आया है. बिकॉज उसका रीजन ये है कि सर मेरे को इसकी ट्रेनिंग की वजह से मोटरसाइकिल मिली, वरना मैं मोटरसाइकिल नहीं खरीद सकता था. अच्छा जी ठीक है. Then he got married. Again he came to that center. Then he got a child. He again came to the center. So his whole ecosystem started off. बोला सर मेरे को यहाँ ट्रेनिंग मिला, मेरा ecosystem बन गया सारा. And I'm thankful. So for every good occasion, this fellow will come to the Bhopal center and offer some sweets or cake or take blessings or share the happiness and joy. So that is something, gives you a totally different perspective of the people who get skilled, trained and get employed. See what difference does it make to them. Their whole family ecosystem starts working. So thank you very much for this efforts. And I'm sure We keep on touching base at some point or the other. And thank you, the audience as well. And thank you, Deepika and Tejasvita, for getting them across. And I see Apurva Maheshwari also joining up. So thank you once again, Priyanka. Thank you, Akshay, and wishing you all the best during the week, and look forward to have more interactions with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Thank
everyone.
you so much.
Thank you.
Namaskar,
Thank you so
everyone.
much.
Thank you so
Thank you.
Thank you.